Hello YouTube, and welcome to GrunfWorks. This is episode 13 of the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration, with today's name, Eye in the Sky. So, after a successful mission to the moon, that was really a close call, it is time that we go back and use the sweet sciences obtained to further our research. So, with that in mind, I definitely want to unlock more science. So, we're doing harvesting of moon and minmus anyway, so I figure might as well, just go for more science. And I think that's okay. Let's see, what else can we unlock? Future scanning, it's quite expensive. It's a little bit more, one more scan set and two more orbital. So I instead went for the more advanced probes. Advanced RCS. No, not at the moment. Cockpits. Maybe. Well, batteries, we would need some. So let's go first for the basic electrics and then AAA batteries for sure. Definitely the advanced or SAS, like so that we get the better reaction wheels. I'm thinking now between communication and batteries or fairings or... Yeah, this is a little bit tough one. Maybe advanced landing legs. Abort modules, yeah, we will be soon going with the planes, and we want to have those eject modules, and more manned missions mean more eject modules. So let us also research the waste management, and I'm thinking maybe advanced life support, but it's pretty expensive and I don't have enough science. So cockpits, sure, why not? And canards, yeah, let's go with the canards. And then so we are going a little bit more towards the plane parts, but yeah, still there's some stuff to unlock before we actually start making viable and bigger planes for specific purposes. Alright. Okay. So let's see, let's spend our upgrade points for advancing our build rate for the VAB and SPH, and a little bit for increasing our science gains. Also, I'm starting to invest in secondary queues because it's time to take this Kerbal Space Program from just on a mission per mission basis to more like the actual program, because missions do take time and I want to be able to run several missions in parallel. That being said, time for the episode to earn its title. So today I was thinking, okay, well, Moon and Minmus were spotted when we went into the orbit, so I thought it was kind of a little bit backwards, but that being said, I really wanted to deploy an orbital telescope, and for this particular telescope I'm using CactEye orbital telescope mod. So right now I'm just trying to figure out what parts should I put, and definitely we want to start with a fungi, which it would be the smaller telescope, and we will go with a wide field camera, because we want to look at the orbital bodies and stuff. So, and then if that turns out to be a good idea, then we might consider deploying a larger telescope and see if we can unlock the mysteries of the other planetary bodies as well. So definitely it's being run by a probe core, so we need to put in a remote tech antenna. Then we put a small fuel tank, and also we will post a small thrusters, 4 of them to be more exact. So 4 small thrusters, and I think that should be more or less sufficient when it comes to, let's say, thrust to weight. And yeah, then we need some solar panels. I'll put 2 of those, and those will be CactEye. Okay. So far so good. Then let us put a SAT or small orbital telescope Mark 1. Small. So okay. And I think we want to start this one as deployed. And what else am I missing? Maybe the batteries. Yeah, so I need the battery, so I'll put just maybe 4 pieces at 45 degrees. And I want to put the solar panels on the custom 1 group. So, and I want to simulate it in the orbit around Kerbin. So yeah, we already been in the orbit around Kerbin, so I can actually do the simulation. So let us just see. Set moon as the target, and let us orient ourselves. First deploy the solar panels, which we don't need to care about at the moment because we're in the shadow, and point towards the moon, and let us see how it looks like. Toggle the GUI. Okay, so we see the moon, and in the preview we can take the picture. You make an observation of the body. Okay, let us zoom in a bit more. In retrospect, this is probably what I should have done before going to the moon and Minmus, but I figured since we are already doing the moon is clearly visible from the Kerbin, so Kerbals know it's out there and it has been a valid target to visit. So for the moon, and well, even for the Minmus, I mean, it's the Kerbin's moon. But for all the other planets in the Kerbin system, we would first need to make an orbital observation of, or at least spot them with a telescope to be able to, well, basically engage in anything else. So in case that some of you might have been wondering, what will I be going interplanetary to do, Naive and others? Yes, I will, but from the perspective of the progression, we first have to spot and see that they exist. And then, and only then, after we have discovered them using the telescopes, send some probes, discover things about them like gravity using like probes, maybe even unmanned landers using remote tech. Then we will be starting focusing on the manned missions. So still a long way to go, and also maybe for these missions I'm hoping to be able to put some maybe bases or orbital stations that will be refueling, etc., etc. So that's kind of the plan for this series. Okay, so I don't babble too much. It's time for today's quiz. Remember, today you guys are competing for the XCOM enemy unknown. Steam gift. So remember, you have to have a Steam account to be able to receive the award. So, okay. You might have noticed that until this episode, on a few occasions I've been showing you Final Frontier mod. I have been doing that deliberately because today's first question would be to this episode, which is episode 13. Which Kerbal has the most ribbons? Of course, I mean, it is which Kerbal has the most ribbons, given the fact that what you have seen on the videos. If some of them had more ribbons and you haven't seen it, that doesn't clearly constitute. So they were shown in the videos, so just check them out and see which one has the most ribbons to this episode, episode 13. Okay, that was the first question. With that out of the way, I think I'm almost ready with the construction of my rocket. I'm just now fixing the staging. Okay. Just putting some fins, and I know, well, putting those fins in the 45 degrees isn't exactly the best idea for launching. Better it would be at 0 and 90 degrees, but I have the solid rocket boosters there, so clearly I cannot put them in such, at such inclinations. So, well, doesn't matter really. Let us press the launch, and I don't really think that I need to simulate the vessel. We've already simulated the telescope itself, so it's time to actually build it. So first we have to recondition the launch pad, I guess after the last launch, and after that we would be launching the actual, or we would have to actually build the craft first. So yeah, sorry. So building the orbital telescope, the small one. And this is completely unmanned mission powered by remote tech. I will post both the CactEye and the remote tech mods links in the description of this video. Alternatively, you have them at the initial video of my series. Okay, rolled out, and we are go for launch. So let us go to VAB and launch. Okay, throttle to max, and we're off and boosting. So once again, the launch is shown. I think it's in 2 or 3 times time acceleration. Nothing really special about it. Just big fat rocket going up into the Kerbin orbit. I think I'm planning to launch the satellite somewhere around 250 kilometers, definitely a little bit higher than that, so maybe 300. I'll see how it goes. Okay, just burning straight for the apoapsis. And I'm thinking as soon as I'm out of the atmosphere, I'll ditch the fairings. So let us just see. Okay, apoapsis 101, and Let us just do a maneuver node to be able to circularize at 100 kilometers roughly. 101 by 101. That's almost perfect. So let's see if we can burn as accurately. So pointing our craft to maneuver prograde. Ditching the fairings, exposing the telescope, and we are opening the solar panels and opening up the remote tech communitron, just to make sure that we can continue keeping connection. One thing that's important as a requirement, as said by CactEye mod, do not point the lens towards the sun, because if you do, you will get a big bang in terms of, so like sun will just fry the circuits and your telescope will basically explode. So okay, now just burning for a circularization. And since this is a shorter episode, I'm not running particularly time accelerated. Figured after all the action pack, it would be good to have one that is more of a sedate pace, so to say. Okay, now we have the periapsis of 79 and apoapsis 214, which I guess it's good enough, but let us add the apoapsis burn for the actual altitude that we want to settle on, and I'm thinking somewhere around 300 kilometers roughly, give or take. Maybe 280 or 260. Yeah, let's keep it there. Okay. While we're still in the moon shadow, or in the Kerbin shadow, I'm using the opportunity to turn the telescope. And we still have a lot of delta V in the current stage, but honestly I don't think that we will be needing it. So I'll probably just ditch it. And yeah, I'm aware that I'm littering a little bit, let's say, Kerbin's orbit, but yeah, maybe in the future episodes I will make sure to deorbit all of my debris. It's not really my primary focus to clear it. My primary focuses are on the missions themselves. So okay, coming up on our maneuver node. Close the alarm. And let us point to maneuver node. Only 124 meters per second burn, so it's not really that big. And as we are approaching the maneuver node, alright, a little closer, okay, yeah, that's right. So I think it's time to stage the telescope and bring it up to its intended altitude. So stage, and these smaller engines are quite sufficient. You can see we have 550 delta V, which is way more than we need. So raising our periapsis and our apoapsis to 260 or Then again, I went for 300. Yeah, well, what can you do? So killing a maneuver node and putting a final maneuver node that will put us in, hopefully, the craft's final orbit. By the way, if this mission turns out to be a success, like I said, I will be reconsidering in terms of posting a bigger CactEye telescope to discover further planets. I mean, right now the scope of this mission is just to use it for the Moon and Minmus, but then again, in the future episodes I will be exploring other planets as well. So, okay. That being said, it's time for the second question of the quiz. Which Kerbal in the Interplanetary Voyage of Exploration was the first Kerbal in orbit? So, which of our Kerbals was the first Kerbal in orbit in this series? Quite simple, quite straightforward. Okay. Targeting Moon, and I'm turning my CactEye telescope towards it. First things first, let us shut down the engines so that any ridiculous and completely unnecessary presses of the stage or throttle button by yours truly end up in the actual failure. So right now we are once again going to point to Moon and zoom in. So now I'm also using this gyro sensitivity. I'm still trying to, by the way, figure out how that works exactly. I'm not exactly still familiar with it, so I'm just trying to point as much to the Moon as I possibly can. And then I will be taking a photo and use it for extracting science and maybe pictures of the biomes and whatnot. And here you can see me struggling with trying to take a nice photo. Ultimately, I got fed up and I just decided to go with it as is. Cool. You make an observation of the body. 9.6 science. Well, yeah, since we're using these processors, I believe only when you have unlocked stage 3 can you truly harvest all the science. So, once again, we might either send a bigger ship or we will send a refit mission to actually improve the processors on this telescope. So, yeah. But then again, we have proven that it works, and now we're just trying to set our view on Minmus. There it is. Oh, it's also in the night sky beside Moon. That's an interesting coincidence. So, like now, zooming ever so carefully, and decreasing the sensitivity. I honestly don't know if I should put it more or less. So, wow. Okay. I have no idea what just happened. So once again doing the circle, and oh yeah, we ran out of battery power. That's what happened. So yeah, and clearly when you run out of battery power, the processor stops working, which only makes sense. So now we're coming back and looking once again at Minmus. Okay, with that we're coming up on the third and the last question, and this one is also quite a simple one. What is the exact name of a Kerbal who has first set foot on another planetary body? So, other than Kerbin, of course. So, who was the first Kerbal who actually landed and set foot on another planetary body that wasn't Kerbin? Cool, so there's your 3 questions for the quiz today, and as you can see me struggling with getting a good picture of Minmus, I can tell you that we are slowly coming up on the end of today's episode. As I said, it will be a smaller episode just because my focus for today was just getting pictures of Moon and Minmus. Because if I would be doing this with some further planets, I would probably go nuts. Yeah. So, yeah, I really hope that you have liked the video and that you like the series in general. Please post all your comments are welcome. So any ideas, suggestions, comments, please post them in the comments of this video. And of course, once again, the first person who answers all of the 3 questions posed in this video correctly will be getting an XCOM Enemy Unknown gift on Steam. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Well, thank you very much for watching, guys, and I'm just taking a quick picture of the craft itself, probably for the screeny. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. This is GrunfWorks signing off.